Welcome to the second part of our Advanced Hovers video series. If you haven't checked part 1, go and check part 1. Otherwise, let's get this going. So in the first chapter we discussed this simple hover effect, when you hover on the text and image changes. Now we'll discuss this one. So this one is fun little effect where you hover on the empty screen and images appear. So let's go to the file and see what's actually happening here. This one is an interesting one because it combines two features. It combines interactions, hovers, and symbols. So what's happening here? We have a lot of different objects. Let's come back to the website. And each of them have their own hover effect. But since we don't want to repeat the same actions multiple times for each of those images, we're baking a hover interaction inside the symbol, then multiplying the symbol on our layout, and then we can change with overrides image dimensions, and we can change images itself while keeping the symbol's logic intact. It sounds boring and technical and whatever, but let me show you how to do that, and it's much more simpler than it sounds. So let's go to our sandbox, and for the sake of this demonstration, we'll show it with two images. So we'll show it, for example, let's put our grid, let's put one image right here, and that's gonna be our image. All we have to do, and there are a couple tricks to that. We have to set it as a trigger. So let's call it, I don't know how, like invisible image interaction. And what should be happening here is that on the default state, this image should be transparent, and on the state number 2 it should be visible. That's basically our logic. Also, like, let's try to go to our review, and we can see that it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? If you check the part number 1, you might know why. You might already know the solve, and I'm specially putting us in this situation so I can show you solves if you face it yourself. Because when image is invisible, it's no interactions or hover are being registered on the image. So we should go to click and hovers and say always allow. So now hovers will be registered on that image even if this image is not visible. So now we can go back and, oh yeah, because our interaction is on click, change our interaction to the hover, go back, reload, and now everything should work. Here we go. I'm hovering on the image and it works. Now imagine I want to create the same image on the right. Imagine I want to create 10 images. You can do that by just copying this image and copying interaction and what's not, but I will show you a better way to do that. I will delete this interaction altogether. I will reveal the image. And what you have to do before doing any interactions or whatever, just hit this symbol icon right here, and call it, I don't know, like invisible image symbol. So now we have this image as a symbol. Why is that important? Now we can edit it as a symbol, now we can duplicate it across the project, and we can change certain attributes to the symbol which will affect all the instances or not, or they can be overrides. So to start with, let's go to the symbols edit source, view just right here, and while you're in the edit source and editing the source, now you can assign an interaction, and we can call it invisible wherever, and we will set it up to hover in, hover out. Our image is already on always allow, so we don't need to change that, and we'll hide it on the first state. That works now. Now let's hit save, and let's be sure, let's go to staging and let's be sure it all works. Yep, it works. And now if I want to copy this and recreate this symbol without the need to recreating interaction, all I need to do, I can just right click and select it from my symbols. So I think it's this one, invisible image, or I can just hold Option and drag it right here, and that will also do the thing. And now what we can do, instead of going to edit source, we can double click on the symbol. We'll see this overwrite editing label, which means we are editing overwrite right now, and we have our image selected, and all we have to do is just switch the image. That's it. That's it. Now we can go back to the sync, reload the page, and we see now here we have one image and here we have another image. All works beautifully, and you can change their sizes and do all other bunch of things. So, and you can also create a lot more of those images. You can scroll down and right click, invisible image. Now we have one more. You can change its size and do a bunch of other cool stuff, and also open it here and change your image to be some other image, for example this one, and let's go to the staging. Now we have one, we have two, and somewhere down here, I don't know where, we have number 3 right here. Yeah, here we go. So you can fill your whole canvas with those images, but don't forget to toggle always allow settings on clicks and hovers in the layers panel. For the ones who doesn't know, you can toggle layers panel by pressing L. So that was our second effect, this one. In the next video we'll cover the effect number 3, which will be somewhat similar or somewhat not. Alright, see you in the next video.